What's up guys, welcome to the channel. For those who are new, my name is Acenoguera, and in this one we are going to be reviewing the Pergear 35mm F1.2. Now I also have the 7Artisans counterpart, and I'm going to give you some comparisons between the two as well, but we'll mainly be focusing on the Pergear 35mm. Now I also partnered with Pergear to give away one of these in the mount of your choice, so stay till the end to learn how you can enter. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this review underway. Let's start with the exterior. The entire construction of this lens is made out of metal. It gives it a really nice high quality feel to it, not to mention a beautiful weight that helps balance out the camera beautifully. The lens hood itself is also made out of metal, which provides a really great way to block out some harsh flares in the lens itself. This is actually something that the 7Artisans did not come with, and that was one of my biggest issues with the 7Artisans lens, is the flares that you got from it were very unappealing and just something I would not ever want in my photos. So I actually didn't have any issues with that whatsoever with the Pergear lens, even with the lens hood off, which I thought was really awesome. So I think Pergear is definitely using a different coating on the lens, or the glass rather, than 7Artisans, and it's really working because it gets rid of all that purple ugly flare that you will see right here in some of the images that I captured from the 7Artisans lens. Here is a huge difference between the two lenses. As you can see on the Pergear lens, it has that more traditional ribbed grip around each of the focus ring and your aperture ring, whereas on the 7Artisans, it doesn't really have that same feel, and I can tell you right off the bat, the 7Artisans feels a little rougher and not as smooth. I'm going to see if the camera can pick it up, but you may notice there's a lot more purple fringing on the coating of the 7Artisans lens. And like I mentioned earlier, that seemed to be one of the things that I was picking up a lot while shooting out in the sun. It wouldn't even be direct sunlight, but you would get these weird purple bands. Another huge difference that I wanted to bring to your guys' attention before we jump into the image quality is the iris on the back of both these lenses. As you can see on the Pergear side, it is significantly bigger than on the 7Artisans side. I would probably say it's about double the size, to be honest. And I thought that was really interesting because they're both the same focal length and the same f-stop, but the construction and the build of both of them are just so different from each other. Now let's jump into image quality. As you can imagine, shooting at 1.2 gives you some insane bokeh. Just look at this example. It is absolutely nuts. And as you can see, it's actually really nice looking. It's very smooth and creamy, something I wasn't really expecting to get from a lens in this price point. However, I was very pleased to see that that was the result. Now, if we zoom in on this photo right at f1.2, you can see it is pretty sharp. There are not really any complaints, and even if it was really soft on the edges, when you're focusing on something like this, because you're shooting at f1.2, you have so much bokeh that it's already pretty soft looking anyways. Now if we close the aperture just a little bit, you can see a significant improvement in sharpness, especially closer to the center of the frame. Here, this is shot at f1.6, and you can see things are getting drastically sharper. I think this is the sweet spot of this lens. If you could shoot at around f1.4 or 1.6, that will maximize the sharpness that you can get out of this lens. But like I said, I really do think this lens really shines even at 1.4, 1.6, and still gives you not only that beautiful compression that you get from like a nifty 50, because that would essentially be like the full frame equivalent for this, but you also get that beautiful, rich, creamy, smooth bokeh as well. Going back to shooting at f1.2, I want to show you a couple of examples. As you can see, things start to get a little soft right outside the center, but nothing to be quite alarmed of really. This is mainly going to be something you encounter with pretty much any lens when you are shooting wide open. This one generally falls a little bit on the softer side, but you guys need to also remember this is only a little over 100 USD. So for that price point, I still think you are getting a phenomenal lens that gives you a crazy amount of light and bokeh in your photos. Now, shooting with this lens, one of the things that I did notice is there's vignetting no matter what f-stop you are shooting at. It's very subtle, but it is still there. As you can see in the corners here of this shot, things are a little bit darker. Now, this is something that could easily be corrected in post, but just something to keep in mind in case you are interested in purchasing this lens. Now, if you're more interested to see what this lens can do in the portrait space, there's a card right here to a video that I released last week. If you haven't seen it, it is all on portraits shot with this lens, and I gotta say I'm extremely impressed and can't wait to shoot more portraits with this lens. Well guys, that is going to sum up this review. If you have a specific question of something about the lens that I didn't cover, go ahead and leave it down in the comments below. And overall, I think this lens is absolutely amazing for its price, and if I was considering between that or the 7Artisans, I would honestly pick the Pergear simply because I feel like I get slightly sharper images out of this, not to mention I don't have to worry about some weird fringing and sun flares that I would get with the 7Artisans. So my pick would definitely be the Pergear lens. Now, if you want to enter for your chance to win this awesome lens in the mount of your choice, it's very simple. All you have to do is leave a comment down below, make sure you are subscribed, and there is a link in the description. Go ahead and enter your email. I will need your email because if you do win, that'll be the way that I get in contact with you. Now, with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. It really does help the channel continue to grow. And as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.